Replit. So I've been talking to quite a few business owners about this recently. Brokers in Holland who are working with us on some equity raising, and they're building out some new websites and funnels and landing pages and things like that. And he's quite tech enabled, but he's using the old style of building out these pages, which takes weeks to do. And I said Replit is exactly where you want to be and what you want to use. So Jack, you first brought this in. I remember you and Ben did a talk, like you did a talk on this on your pod. Um, have you used Replit at all?
Yeah, so we have quite extensively as well, actually. So we started off XP Surveys, which is our service-based business. We've paid to build an API website. Our API backend extrapolates data from various different sources to spit out automated quotations. That API feeds into our user interface, which is the website, so UI. And that is what people see on our websites. They can go to our page, about us, blogs, services, and then our quotation tool, which is technically almost like a mathematical equation that extrapolates data, is how we build a price. So to give you an example of that, the easiest example is we buy any car. When you put in your number plate and say, what is this worth? It goes to find what vehicle it is, what make, what model, what year, what's the mileage on it, MOT service data, tax service data, all of that information, pulls it into a platform. It then goes to the market and looks at comparable price points of what that's selling for. So that for us is what we price our surveys at. And then it tells you a price instantly. And that technology of a back end website and a front end website is how that all pulls together. We wanted in XP Surveys to build a portal that carries jobs from end to end, a bit like how Stu uses Salesforce, but we wanted to build our own. So it was completely bespoke. And Ben basically went away on holiday and was doing it on his iPhone on the side of the pool, building it out with Replit. Like it cost him like 50 quid to build the whole platform. He was prompting it to do all the coding, to do all the phasing, to build all the layers, to build all the platform. And that was like his like almost him just brain dumping his ideas of what he wanted to build as a platform. Um, some people say that you can build a bit of a web because you start off, it's basically like Chinese whispers. You start off here and then you end up really far removed from your original proposal. So for this information to travel, because you've changed your mind so many times, iterated it so many times, sometimes it's better to start from scratch.
Yes.
And then rebuild it that way, which a lot of people say that is the benefit of coding, because when something's wrong in coding, you delete it and change, and then you have a really linear line of code, which doesn't get as many bugs, because obviously the more framework you have for a simple solution, the more buggy and gritty it's going to be. But beyond that, we got to a point where we basically had an interface, and then we actually hired someone. Well, we kind of hired someone for a few weeks, and then we learned off them of how to use it. It's almost like ultimate prompting, which is like someone between a coder uh, and someone that understands Replit and how it builds to build out a more robust platform. And it is absolutely crazy. I think it's probably cut what we've built. I think would cost you 50K, and it's probably cost us maybe 5, 8K. Um, but I think if you wanted to build a website that could cost 3 grand, it will cost you a couple hundred quid. And it's done like that. It's, I know so many people that have had website build teams in India, and for weeks and weeks and weeks and hundreds of dollars later, language barrier to meeting to iteration, to that doesn't look right. Taking months and months can literally be done in a few days with Replit.
Yeah.
Really, really strong, powerful tool.
Yeah. I'm happy you said that, mate, because so we do the exact same thing where you iterate and iterate. You start with an idea, you want to get to end goal, but you end up having to pivot your prompts quite a lot, and that can end up building out a code base of like congested code. And a great hack around this is either start again, and Matt actually did this because we use Replit to build so many different tools like all the time, and we're basically building Procore at the moment, or Build a Trend, a simplified version for the buy to let business. That's like going to be just perfect for our exact use case because it's proprietary. You can build it exactly how you want, however you want the flow of data and things like that to move around. There's no being beholden to some big generalized software that doesn't work for every use case, and you kind of fit within its square pegs. Instead, we can build it exactly how we like.
Mhm.
But in building that, it did fucking do a lot of meandering. So Matt kind of got to a point and went, "Do you know what? I'm going to start from scratch, use the key UI aspects it's built, re-prompt it, and then got to the end goal way quicker." And obviously with a cleaner code base. But what you can do is take the code base, you can get Replit to extract the code base, like section by section, and then stick that into Grok. And then Grok can analyze that code base and show you where the weaknesses are, and then reprompt Replit, and then you paste it back into Replit, and then Replit will clean up its code base. So you can
Mhm.
use AI on AI to create like a feedback
Yeah.
loop, which is quite good.
So one of the main benefits for us using Replit is we were actually using Asana as a project management tool. We were using HubSpot as a CRM and almost sales management tracker. We're using Zero for hours logging, holidays, billing, so invoicing out and invoicing in, and accounting and bookkeeping. We were using Google Drive for document storage. We were using Google Calendar, obviously, for the business calendar. And then we're using various other things. Our adapted platform literally speaks and feeds from everything. So if you drag a job from quoted to instructed, it does a load of things, puts it in the calendar, sends out the initial invoice, notifies our office manager to notify that, you know, what she needs to do. It basically does all of this stuff for you. It's even got, when you tile the job on a date, it puts it in the calendar, it sends the address, it creates a street view of the property. So it goes to Google, gets a street view, creates that. It tells you the temperature on the day that you expect to go do the survey. It assigns it to a surveyor that can go do the job. So we're basically cutting up admin out by like 95% by transitioning between all these platforms.
Yeah. And a great thing you can do with Replit is you can pull from API keys on things like Asana or Monday.com. So if you want data to transfer automatically to like a central hub, you can just create KPI calls, and then all your data can like stay in a nice clean flow for whatever you want the end outcome to be, whether that's a dashboard feature or an email sequence or something like that. So Replit is really good.